Hi everyone, Mike Hughes here. Today I'm going to take you through Exchange Online Protection, also now known as Microsoft Defender for Office 365 Plan 1 and Plan 2. I've got it on my screen right here so you can all see it. And it's the new name. I hate it when they change names. It's like you got a good thing, just stick with it, right? Because now people have to learn everything. Is like, oh, is that a new product? It's like, no, it's just the same product. They just rebranded it. Something Microsoft does every couple of years on products, which drives me nuts. Sorry, my little rant there. Um, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk through the settings today. So we're going to go through email protection, really is what we're going to walk through today. I'm going to walk you through the policies. I'm going to walk you through the different consoles. I'm going to be bouncing all over the place because there's different places for different things. Microsoft essentially has 3 consoles right now for the same thing. Really old, current, and preview. So, and certain areas you can do certain things, and other areas you can't. In some areas, are easier to do things than other areas. So, I'm going to walk you through everything today, and this is probably going to take about, well, I'm going to guess somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes just for me to pound through this. But by the time I'm done here, I think you'll have a good understanding of how to set this up and understand some of these settings. I'm not going to go into the details of every setting and why not. We'd be here for an hour and a half and you'd be half asleep by then. So I'm just going to pound through this. So let me transition over here to Mini-Me. There we go. And Microsoft Defender Office 365 Plan 1 and Plan 2. Slight differences between the two. So if you don't have these plans and you just sign up for Exchange Online, let's say you have a Microsoft 365 basic account, right? The new basic, formerly Essentials. You're going to get basic email protection. You're going to get malware, spam, just the basics that Microsoft has. But in the world we live today, that's not enough. Because the primary threat vector for most businesses is email, meaning someone's trying to get you to do something by clicking on a link or open a file, and it typically comes through email. And they're trying to get to your identity, trying to get you to hand over a username and password. Or you get man-in-the-middle attacks where you're the accounting controller or something like that, and you get an email all of a sudden from the CEO says, "Hey, who happens to be out of town." It's like, "Hey, can you wire me $5,000? Blah 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 blah," or "Can you send this customer this?" And it's totally a bogus thing, and you end up losing several $1,000s. I had a customer recently here that the customer of our customer lost $30,000 because of a man-in-the-middle attack. Totally spoofed it. Not something Microsoft ever caught. It was something on the customer side. But these things happen, and they happen all the time. So having the safe attachments protection, having the safe links protection are super, super important to your email protection. And if you're just on a basic Microsoft plan right now, at least go get Plan 1, minimum Plan 1. Because you're not fully protected right now. Your door's open. You're getting 10-year-old basic email protection. I'm not saying that Microsoft's anti-spam and anti-malware protection is not good. It's really, really, really good. But there's a whole nother level you need to be at. So here we go. Let's walk through this. I'm going to go over to a login here. So what I've done is, as a Microsoft partner, we can create demo accounts. You go to demos.microsoft.com. You can create an account. And it's a free demo account. It's fake data, fake account, but it's some place we can go play. I went ahead and logged in. And if you click on admin here, it jumps you over to the Office 365 admin console. Problem is you can't see any of the admin consoles. You have to click show all to get everything here. Now down below here on the left, you got security and compliance. These used to be combined. These are now really in preview mode. So you've got, like I said earlier, you've got the old Exchange console, admin console, which also has a new console coming, and we'll click into this here in a second. And you have security and compliance, and security is where we're going to go, and that takes you over to protection.office.com. So I'm going to show you the old way first, which is Exchange Online. Okay, this is the old console. Notice it shows you the blue bar up here at the top that says, "Hey, new console coming, but I'm not going to take you through that right now because that'd be a fourth console to take you through. But I'm going to just talk about basic protection right now, malware and spam protection. We're going to talk about those two things right now, and I'll pop into quarantine probably for a second. Malware. So you get a basic policy for malware out of the gate. You also get a basic policy for spam out of the gate. But they're base configurations, and there's a couple little tweaks you want to do on these policies. So on the malware one, what you want to do is for malware response, do you want to notify recipients, the people, if their messages are quarantined? So if they've got messages that have been quarantined or malware, do you want to get notified? Yes, you want to let them know that they were getting notified. The second thing is common file attachment filter types. This is a big one. Microsoft prevents a few of the basics like an executable, scripts, VBS scripts, registry files, Java files, those kind of a basic types of files in here. But what I like to do is I like to turn this on, and I like to go add, and Microsoft gives you a whole bunch of other files types you can add in here. Okay, more VB scripts and all different kinds of scripts. I just typically click on the bottom one or the top one, do a shift, click the top one, add, and say okay, and just pop them all in there. The other thing, I don't notify senders, or I don't do any notify administrators or these other types of things. That's all I do for the malware one, just those basic ones. And then for the spam one, if I go spam bulk protections, so Microsoft has some best practices, and I'm not going to go into all the details there, but I'll see if I can find the link for it and put it in the notes. But this is what I typically do for our customers. Quarantine the messages, okay? And notice you need to turn on end user notifications, and we'll get to that in a second. Bulk email protection. This is kind of a threshold marker. The higher the probability that it is bulk email, like a mass emailing that goes out, then the more likely it is to catch it. So select 1 for most bulk email, and 9 allows most email through. So 1 is really tight, 9 is really loose, 6 seems to be a good. I have customers go to 5 or 4 sometimes. You can tweak this number to make it work for you, and then I normally set the quarantine for 30 days. Block lists, you can block particular emails or domains. Allow lists, same thing. Like if you got a client or a business partner or something like that you're working with all the time, you can allow theirs to come through. International spam, you can go in here and we could do particular countries. I'm not going to do that, but you can filter countries. A lot of people like to block China and Russia and some of those others. Brazil seems to be a big one for some reason. And then you get some of these advanced options in here. For example, like, if it has JavaScript in it, or if it has an iframe in it, if it has a hard fail in the SPIF record, these types of things that you can get into. And Microsoft has some best practices on this, and we'll come back around to these in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then when messages do get quarantined, because remember I select quarantine there in that option, users need to get notifications. And this is where over in the lower right, you need to configure that. You turn it on, and I typically set this for 1 day. So every day, and it happens around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a user will get an email saying, hey, these messages are quarantined that we're coming to you today. Here's a link. You can go review them and check them all out. So you got to make sure you turn that on. When they land in quarantine, they drop into this spot here. And as administrator, you can go see these. So if someone says, hey, I didn't get an email, well, you can go look in the quarantine after you've asked the user to look in their junk folder and see if it's in the quarantine. So that's the old console. So now let's go look over at the new console. Security. And notice when I click in here, check out the new homes for security and compliance. And here's the links to them. So some of these links actually end up coming back over to here. Threat management, policy. Here they all are, okay? These are all your email threat management policies. Now, the two we just did, anti-malware and anti-spam. If I click in anti-malware now, there's the default policy, okay? And I can edit this policy, Malware detection and response, yes. Common filter attachment types are all there, the ones I just did. The malware 0-hour auto purge. Remember, we didn't see that in the other console. Okay, but here it is. So this will, Microsoft, when Microsoft picks something up in some other Exchange mailbox and some other customer, they can actually come back through and pull stuff out of your mailbox that has already been detected. Pretty cool feature. Don't get that with Google. And then notifications, we talked about those, and then who it applies to, and then review your settings, and that was it. So I'm going to cancel out of that. So that's the basic one. It's same type of configuration that we do over in the other area, but it's just a different look and feel. Anti-spam is the same way. Here we go. Here's the policy. This is the default policy. Again, you got the configure and use your spam notifications. You can edit the policy. It's a little different look and feel, a little fluffier web form-like kind of thing. The 0-hour zap messages, phish, we didn't see those over in the other console, the older console, but here they are, checked by default. The allow list, the block list, the international spam, and then increase your spam core property. See, these are just a little bit different look and feel, okay, in here. One nice feature Microsoft has added, and I'll click on this one just to show you this one, so that one's the same, right? But notice it doesn't give me how, well, never mind. Look, same functionality. I can cancel there. So I'm going to go back to policies again. But here's a cool thing that Microsoft's added recently, Configuration Analyzer. And we'll get into the other policies here and the advanced threat protection policies in a second. So I just want to show you this. So here's the anti-spam one. Now, it just checked the settings that I had there, and it says, hey, everything's great. On the malware one, it says defaults. Let's see if I can get the column to slide over here. It's not going to let the column, no column grabber, of course. Default attachment, something or other policy thingy mabobber. So delete attachment policy. So what's that one say? Delete message. So there's a delete message on malware, and if I can adopt it, it doesn't. See, that's one thing I hate about these consoles sometimes is they just don't allow you to move them around. So I can tell you what that is, but it's a Microsoft best practice, and so they do analyze your settings and do make recommendations. On the spam one, there's nothing here. Phishing is recommended, but we'll come back to this in a little bit. But this analyzer is pretty cool, is my point, and you'll want to refer back to it every now and then. So now let's talk about the advanced threat protection stuff. ATP phishing, ATP safe attachments, and ATP safe links. So this is stuff that you're going to get in Plan 1, right? Safe attachment, safe links, ATP for SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams, phishing for Defender, and real-time detections. So this is new to you, going from the basics, to just spam and malware, up to Plan 1. And then when you pop into Plan 2, you get Threat Trackers, Threat Explorer, so you can kind of you see what things are actually going on. Automated investigation response. Microsoft's doing more AI on your email than just the initial scans. And attack simulators, which are pretty cool. Pardon me there. And you see those over in the console here, right? So the attack simulator, the Explorer, you know, these come in play in Plan 2. But let's go into phishing, because that's the next real big one. The thing that's interesting with Microsoft is they give you the anti-spam and anti-malware protections out of the gate. And they give you basic policies to start with. But for these three, nothing. They don't give you anything to start with, which is really odd. But we'll go through it. I'm going to call it demo policy, just so you can see it. And then here's an interesting, what do you want to protect? I do not like this screen too much, but here's what I do. I protect the recipient domain is, choose, add, all my domains. Add. Done. That could be a heck of a lot easier in my opinion, but here we go. Next. applied, create policy. That was it, okay? But now you think, well, that's all for phishing policies? No, you created the policy, but now watch what happens when I edit again. All this stuff appears. Why wasn't that in the initial screen? Click edit. And then what do you want to protect? So first you can protect users, additional users. And I don't know what accounts are in here. Okay, there's some demo accounts. So I'll pick the conference. Well, yeah, Adams, whatever that is. That's a conference room. So anyhow, you can add users in here that are add up to 60 internal or external users you want to protect from being impersonated by attackers. So these are people like your CEO, your CFO. You want to guarantee you're not impersonated. Why doesn't it protect everyone? I don't know, but this is just the way they have it set up. Automatically include my domains I own. Well, absolutely. Include custom domains. Well, I don't have any custom domains. Add specific domains to protect that could be domains you own or ones that belong to you, suppliers, or other partners you work with. I'm not going to do that here, but you can add other ones in here. Actions. Oh, and tip, don't click save. The moment you click save, it kicks you out of all this, and you have to come back in. What you think is save, every time you click save, it just pops you out, and you have to come back in. And it's weird that they just don't have a save button at the bottom of all this. It's just kind of a weird setup. But anyhow, if email is sent by a impersonator, quarantine the message. Quarantine the message. Mailbox, I keep wanting to click save. Enable mailbox intelligence, yes. Enable mailbox impersonation protection, yes. If email is sent by an impersonator, do not apply any action. I want to quarantine the message. Add trusted domains. Okay, trusted senders like acme.com or who your trusted partner is, right? And then review your settings. And again, you get down to review, you think, well, I've done all my settings up here. Well, no, there's more settings to check. Under review. Yes, yes, yes. And then save. Okay, so we think we're all done, right? No, we're not. Let's go back over to Configuration Analyzer. Now I went from 12, I think 11 or 12 here, right, to now 22 additional recommendations. Okay? User side protect, modify, confirm. Okay? See, I've already done that one, but it still picked it up. Adopt, confirm, modify, confirm. No custom domains. I'm okay there. Adopt, confirm. Adopt, confirm, adopt, confirm, adopt, confirm, adopt, confirm. You get the point here. It's just an interesting thing, but you'll notice I am just going through here and taking Microsoft's best practices for the most part on everything. Okay, let me go back to this one real quick just to check this box. Yeah, so that's editing users to protect, add user. That's just interesting. Okay, let's just pick one that it didn't pick it up before. Modify, confirm. That one's okay. Modify junk one, confirm. Adopt quarantine, confirm. Adopt, confirm. So I find that you have to still do this even though you've actually done it. And some of these settings aren't obvious. Point being, use a configuration analyzer even after you think you're done. Show tips, adopt, confirm, adopt, confirm, adopt, confirm. See, some of these I already did, right? And it's still picking them up, but it could just be that it's taking the settings a little bit to get through. Adopt, confirm. Email sent by impersonator, quarantine message, adopt, confirm, refresh. Okay, see, it's not picking it all up. But anyhow, keep referring back to this. It's an interesting little thing. So that's phishing. Safe attachments. It gets easier now. Okay, look into this one. Again, no policy. Create. Demo policy. Next. Okay, lots of different choices here. What do you choose? Choose replace. Straight up, okay? Don't choose dynamic because what happens is here's what this does first. Attachments come in, Microsoft pulls them out of your email, takes them over to a sandbox, blows them up, make sure that they're not some malware or spamware. If they look okay, they release the message to you. The way this works is if you have the replace button selected, if something is bad, the message will still go through the user, but they're going to get an attachment of a replaced attachment of the bad, saying that there was an attachment here, but it was bad, and here's the rest of the message. Dynamic allows the message to go through, so you'll see the message. The user will see the message come through in Outlook or Outlook Online, but you can't open and edit the attachments. You can only preview them, and it gives you this little box that tells you that Microsoft still is doing its thing. Users complain about that when they see it. They think that, oh, I can't get my files, it's taking too long, this thing sucks, blah, 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 blah. If you just have it on replace, not a problem. Users never know until it's already been taken care of. So use the replace. Redirect attachments to another location. So this is an interesting one. This is Microsoft says you should do this. I say you shouldn't do this because you're sending a message that Microsoft detected as being bad to another mailbox, so someone can go try to open it up to see if it was really bad? No, I don't think so. I keep that undone. They even give you a warning. And then here, what do we want to protect? We want to protect the domains, right? Again, you got to go through this thing to get to there. Done. Next. Finish. Okay. Close. Finish. There we go. Refresh. Where's my policy? Create again. Did I just miss something? Already exists. Oh. Cancel. Let's refresh. There it is. Just took a second for it to show up. A little too quick. Then there's global settings. Turn on ATP for SharePoint, Microsoft Teams. Yes and yes. Allow people to click through protected view even if safe documents identified files as malicious. No, you don't want that to happen. Save. Okay. So there's that. If you were to go over to the old console, over to here, and go to Advanced Threat Protection, there's safe attachments, safe links. Here's the safe attachments we did. Here's those two global settings that we just turned on, and here's the policy settings that we just did. Okay? So similar but different. Okay? And I'm not going to show you the new thing. And then safe links. Again, no policy. Create it. Settings. Or next. On. Apply real-time URL scans suspicious links that point to files. Absolutely. Wait for URL scanning to complete before delivering the message. Yes. Apply safe links to email messages sent within the organization. Yes. Why would you do that, you ask? The reason you would do that is because you get one person in your organization gets phished, or their account, quote, is compromised, and they start sending phishing emails to everyone in your organization. And if that's not turned on, that phishing link is not going to get checked. So that's why you want that on. Do not track user clicks. No, I want to track user clicks. I want to know what they're clicking on. You know, who are the stupid people? Okay, sorry, didn't mean to say that. Do not allow users to click through the original URL. No, you don't want to allow that to occur. Next. Again, I got to select which domain. Choose. Add. Click. Add. Done. Next. Finish. Demo policy is not found. Okay. Obviously, we're getting a little error here. There, we showed up. Yeah, don't you love this? Okay, so I'm going to show it over here in the old policy, safe links. Here it is. Now look at this. You've got a global policy, organizational, and you've got a specific users policy. Over here, again, there's the global policy. Okay. Off to the side. I kind of like the fact that I can see it. Personally, I like this. Boom, 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 boom. I don't have to click on anything to see it. It's just there. Just, you know, my 2 cents. But it's global settings here. The same thing with safe attachments. You have this global settings. You need to make sure you pay attention to these. So back to policies. Anti-malware, anti-spam we covered. So we covered all of these. We've covered configuration analyzer, and we'll run it again. Notice the others showed up. Boom, boom, boom. Safe attachments. Redirect to safe attachments. No, I'm not going to do that. Action default, DT delete attachment. I don't know what that one says. Anti-phishing, include custom domains. No. ATP safe links. Do not track clicks. I'm going to do that. Apply safe links to emails, messages within the organization. I've already done that. So, but I'm going to still click adopt just to make sure. Adopt, confirm. See, nice getting these nice little error messages. Welcome to Microsoft World. Details, refresh. And we'll see what happens. We'll come back to that one in a minute and see if it's caught up with me. All right, now you got these at the bottom. Let's start with the right and go to the left. Enhanced filtering. So if you use someone like Symantec or Mimecast or some other third-party organization that sits out in front of you where emails come in, they do their thing, you use them for archiving, whatever it might be, right? But email is supposed to go in and out through that third party. That's where the enhanced filtering comes in. You're going to create basically exchange flow routing rules that are restricting communications for in and outbound traffic through that third-party partner only. Okay, and it can also happen with other things like email for marketing and things like that. There's other things you can do. User submissions. Now this is relatively new. There's an Outlook add-in. If you go back over to your admin console and go into settings, where is it at? Integrated apps. No, that's not it. There's add-ins in here. Where are they at? People are staring at me right now. They're like, Mike, it's right there. But anyhow, there's an add-in for Outlook. And I'm just trying to see if I can find it real quick. Okay, I'm not finding it off the top of my head. But there's an Outlook add-in that you can plug in that shows up in your Outlook toolbar. Before, that was not there by default. New tenants, they are adding it by default. So this is a brand new tenant. So this is turned on by default, and it's going to show up for users of the Outlook here. If you're an older tenant, you have to go add it manually. But this is on by default now. The add-in is in Outlook by default now, and what it does is it adds a little button up there on the ribbon that allows users to report phishing messages or junk mail, and it's a submission. Administrators can do the same thing, and basically it throws the information back over to Microsoft so their AI or people can take a look at it and tweak their system as it were. So that it helps their system learn what's phishing and what's not. So really cool thing. It's on by default, thank goodness. The other one is DKIM. So domain keys for identifying email, kind of like a spiff record, but a little bit kind of the next level. You have to enable this for your domains, and it requires that you enter a couple DNS entries. There's no DKIM records here found, but if you search for 365 Exchange DKIM record, let's see what we can find here. There we go. And you scroll down, there's the keys. So see these keys right here? Boom, boom, boom. These are DNS records you add, and you just have to have your domain GUID in here, and they give you an example of like here's your your domain that you're putting in that domain GUID. So there's two DNS entries that you're going to stick in for that. Highly recommended that you do it for every domain that you're using for email flow. Some customers have one domain they use, and some customers we have 20 domains. It really depends on what your usage is. So there we are with the basics. You do have the new consoles, like I said. You can go play around in those if you want. Let's notice it didn't open it. Oh, of course, another error message from Microsoft. Let's see if we can get it to actually show up or not in this demo account. Okay, this demo account's not going to be cooperative with me. But you can go play over in there. And then you do have a dashboard, which is going to start showing you all kinds of different things. In these dashboards, you can actually create reports on some of these. Let's see if I can get into any of these. Oh, here's one. It's good to know. If you have Defender ATP in your environment, Microsoft Defender ATP, you got to check this box. Just a little quick tip. We'll get into that when we get into Defender ATP. So yeah, so that's the basics right now. Of going through the policies. Play around in here a bit, but it doesn't take much to get it set up. You got to go through and turn some of this stuff on because Microsoft obviously doesn't give you policies to start with like they do with spam and malware. So you got to at least turn this stuff on and then tweak it. You're going to tune it to your environment. Key thing to remember is that notifications for users on spam that's been quarantined. As an administrator, you have the ability to go see quarantine messages under review, I believe it is. Yep, there it is, quarantine. The quarantine messages will show up here. So you can go in and check them out for users. If users complain something's quarantined, you can go in here and unquarantine it for them if it's a legitimate email. So that's it for right now. More to come. I'm going to put a couple links down in the notes, and if you want to see something specific, let me know and I'll dive into for you. But we're going to do other features and products in here and real security focus. So that's it. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys soon.